Welcome back to Healthcare Matters, where we discuss the trends shaping the future of healthcare. Today we are going to discuss a very important healthcare topic, regulations. To discuss this topic, we are delighted to have a very special guest, Professor Maria Dimitrova. A leader has an experience in the healthcare industry as well as a long experience from the academia side. As we speak, she is spending most of her time supporting, educating, and coaching future healthcare leaders to start early from the bench side and make them more ready to support our healthcare ecosystem. Warm welcome, Maria. It's a great pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Hisham, for inviting me. It's a real pleasure for me because I'm a very big fan of this podcast, to be honest. And I look all the episodes with extreme interest because you're really discussing very hot topics, very important topics. And for me, this podcast is another way to prove that we need to bring all the perspectives on the table, and we have to discuss important topics from a different point of view. So it's a real pleasure for me to be here presenting the perspective of the academia this week.
Thank you so much. It's actually my pleasure, and I look forward to our discussion. And usually before we dig deeper into the topic of healthcare regulations in Europe, I would like to start with another topic, which is about you. So let me start by asking you, what does Maria dream about?
Well, this is a very nice question. I have a lot of dreams, to be honest. Of course, some of them are related with my personal life, some of them are related with my professional experience. But to be honest, my sweet dreams are coming from my children and the future for my children. And my current dream, the biggest dream of Maria currently, is to see my 14-aged teenager head to the top 3 of the state basketball tournament this year, and my 6-year daughter to win her first medal on rhythmic gymnastics. My dream related to sport is really big because I every day teach from my children and see how they're devoted, how they're passionate of doing sports, and I see their growth, their intelligence towards how to be a team player, because both of them have chosen sports that are in teams. And for me, sports teaches of consistency, of hard working, of team playing, and most of all, because we need to speak about healthcare, for me, sport is a very important investment for the future of our children. We invest in their health. Because to be honest, I have read a lot of reports stating that Bulgaria is on the first places in the European Union for obesity among adolescents, and I think that this problem comes because of the problems coming in sports education, sports campaign and programs that are very lacking in Bulgaria these days. And this is my dream, to see that we invest in sport, we invest in activities, in spending more time outside, spending time with people while actively engaging ourselves in sport in order to prevent diseases, because we all know that most of the socially important diseases, some of the risk factors related with them are exactly because of sedentary lifestyle. So this is my dream.
Great. First, God bless your children. I wish them always health and happiness. And definitely this is both an inspiring and encouraging dream, because there is a strong link between sports, as you said, and a more healthy society. And maybe that is a great bridge to my question to you about health and about regulations in health. And for us here in Bulgaria, being apart from EU, any regulations related to health on EU level will really impact our Bulgarian patients and healthcare system. So from your perspectives, what are the major regulations coming soon and will really impact, Bulgaria? And maybe let's focus on the top 3 from your perspective.
Okay, so for sure, when we speak about European legislation and mainly speaking about the upcoming changes of the European legislation, top 3 for me, for sure, would be the health technology regulation, which is already into force, and we will start adopting it at the beginning of 2025.
European Health Technology Assessment,
Yes,
EUHTA.
the EUHTA regulation. The regulation which is focusing on the digital transformation in healthcare, the European Health Data Space, and maybe the regulation for artificial intelligence, which is general for the moment, but I think it would have a lot of impact on healthcare, and it would be a linking bridge between all other regulations that are coming into the changes. And when we speak about the pharmaceutical legislation, I think that the most important focus is exactly on the changes coming for this HTA changes, the joint clinical assessment, which is starting from next year, and also the big changes that we are expecting concerning the innovation for antimicrobial resistance, all the initiatives that the European Medicines Agency would provide to the innovative companies in order to struggle against antimicrobial resistance, because this is for the first time in Europe we have regulation for antibiotics. Of course, we have a lot of guidelines, a lot of recommendations. The World Health Organization made this characterization aware, classifying the antibiotics depending on their resistance level. But this is something new, something big, and something very important, because it will bring together all the different perspectives. And of course, all the changes that are coming within the early dialogue that we are expecting on European level, which will engage all stakeholders. I think these are the most important things for me.
Thank you. That's a great overview. And maybe I would like to focus more on the EU pharma legislation. So from your perspectives, as you mentioned, this is a one-in-a-lifetime opportunity. How this regulation could kind of encourage innovation in healthcare more? And what are some of the challenges we might face as well?
Speaking about the pharmaceutical regulation, we have to think about the fact that this regulation hasn't been changed for a long time. And the time is now. The time has come for changes. And these changes are inevitable because the innovation is rising. We cannot stop the innovation. We cannot stop the potential of the innovative companies to invest in searching for answers concerning new therapeutic areas, unmet medical needs, the antimicrobial resistance. Considering the challenges, I think that we will have challenges in the whole European Union, not only in Bulgaria, but maybe these challenges would be more visible, and we have to speak more about them in the countries from the Central and Eastern European perspective, because things happen late in our countries, and because we have to catch up, we have to follow these regulations because they are on European level. The challenges here would be in terms of adopting our legislation in order to meet the requirements of this legislation. I think that the challenge also would come from the thing that we need to change our mindset towards these changes that are yet to come. So for me this is, but I'm curious to understand, because this is from my perspective, from the perspective of academia, we need to adopt and to learn the future healthcare professionals of these changes. But how do you see these changes in terms of industry perspective? Because industry is on the focus in these changes.
Those changes actually very crucial to the future of healthcare in Europe. And if I would like to share my reflection and also our position as a company, as Roche, I think we should start from the vision. And we are envisioning health in Europe to be really an expectation rather than an inspiration from the European citizens. And to create this future together, we see that there are 4 priorities need to happen. The first one is really related to maximizing the power of early detection and effective treatment. As you know, we see a great challenges today if we know that there is around, due to the bad healthcare, if we can call it this way, there is a loss of around 2.5 trillion euros annually, which is equal maybe to 15% of the GDP. And as you were talking about shift in the mindset, I think we need really a systematic shift in our focus from focus on the sickness to focus on the health, on the healthcare itself. And the second area that together we need to unleash the power of health data. You mentioned, European health data space, and maybe later in our discussion I would like to chat more with you about that. But we see a big area of success for healthcare in Europe if we can unleash together the power of health data. We speak a lot about the pressure on the spending, on the healthcare spending, and something like waste of 20% today, if you look into the figures of the amount of waste in the healthcare spending as we speak. And we believe that the health data have the power to really eliminate and reduce this waste. So we are speaking about more efficiency, more patient-driven like decision-making, really making our healthcare systems more resilient. The third priority, in my opinion, is really related to the legislation. So you made a very nice overview about the key dynamics in terms of legislation right now for the European near-term future. But we need really to articulate a future-thinking legislation where healthcare is really considered an investment. Where we invest in healthcare, we know that we invest in our people. We invest in the society itself. We invest in prosperity of our economy. And this is another systematic shift and mindset shift that need to happen. And finally, the fourth priority is related to how we can really make Europe a very attractive in terms of investment for healthcare. So we know for now that Europe is less competitive if you compare it to other geography. And I think policymakers and different health leaders in Europe need to make some timely decision to make sure that we regain the attractiveness of Europe in terms of how much we invest, how much we create value, how much we create those resilient and sustainable healthcare system. I think those four priorities can lead to this vision of a more place where Europe healthcare is really an expectation versus an aspiration. I'm also curious from my side to know your perspective about the part related to the health data-driven ecosystem and your position on the digitalization of the healthcare system. So from your perspective, what needs to happen and what are the different roles of the different institutions in Bulgaria to make this a reality for our patients here?
Yeah, I think that when we speak about digital transformation, we have three main factors that we have to consider, and they are set on a different level. First of all, I think that we have to have the right political will for the digital transformation to happen. And I think that here in Bulgaria, we have made the first steps at this point. The second thing is that we need digital literacy. Also, I think here that we have done a lot of things, but a lot of things still need to be done in this field, because digital literacy has to be implemented all stakeholders' perspective, meaning that we need to have digital literacy at the regulatory level in order to be able to adopt good practices and adopt legislative changes that will allow a smooth digital transformation process, which is very difficult for countries like Bulgaria. We need to have digital literacy among the healthcare professionals. This is very difficult in Bulgaria, unfortunately, because a lot of reports have shown that we have aging among the healthcare professionals, and sometimes for them it's difficult to catch up with these new and innovative technologies. But because I'm personally involved with, because both my parents are physicians and they are still working, and I still see that they need to catch up with all these things, and they learn every day in order to be in favor to their patients. Also, healthcare professionals have this problem with digitalization in terms of all this administrative burden that is still happening in our country, and that's why I think that it's all like a clock mechanism. Everything needs to be adjusted at the same time from all the different perspectives in order to work together. So we need regulation, we need regulatory efforts in order to help the healthcare professionals to optimize their programs, their time in order to be in help and in favor to them, not to be burden for them. And also I think that we need digital literacy among the future healthcare professionals. And from my perspective, I think that we have to start to speak about digital transformation from the student bench side and to adopt within the curriculum of medical students, pharmacy students, dental medicine students, programs focusing on digital transformation, on the utilization of digital technologies in their everyday practice. So for me, these are the three most important things. And of course, we also need to be more open for communication and more open to adopt different good practices. In terms of the perspective of the industry, which is one of the major stakeholders in the pharmaceutical system, I think that the industry is already ahead in terms of digital literacy, so we need to catch up with the other stakeholders.
Great reflection. I liked very much your reflection around the digital literacy and how you linked it to demographics, and that we really need to start from within the healthcare ecosystem itself, either from the regulatory side, from the healthcare professionals. And great that already you have efforts on the students, side at the very beginning of the journey. That will take me maybe to my last question. And what would be your final message and invitations to our key stakeholders, to the different leaders in the Bulgarian healthcare ecosystem, especially in the light of those dynamics coming from health policy or regulation perspective? So what would be your message really to make sure that those dynamics are really benefiting our Bulgarian patients and increasing the sustainability and resilience of our Bulgarian healthcare system?
My main message is related to communication. I think that we need to improve communication between different stakeholders and to understand that everybody has its place and we have to work together in order to make things happen. I think that we need to have more open communication between the regulatory bodies in Bulgaria and the pharmaceutical industry, because they work together in order to bring this patient-centric concept of healthcare. We also need more communication with the academia, because we have a lot of experts in the academia that make a lot of research in the field, and I think that this research could contribute to make better decisions based on evidence that was found during this research. And I need also to see that our students have more possibilities to see the practical side of their education, because what we do in the academia, we are very proud in our faculty because we have already for 2 years the first elective subject on digital transformation in the pharmaceutical system, which is very good, because we started this change in the mindset and these attempts to speak about this from the student bench side. But I think that we need to focus starting from tomorrow to improve our communication, because the changes that are coming within the whole pharmaceutical strategy on European level is based on communication, on early dialogue and communication between all stakeholders. I think this is the most important thing.
Thank you so much for this insightful discussion. And indeed, communication is really pivotal for the way forward, and especially in light of those health policy dynamics. You mentioned the European Health Technology Assessment, European Health Data Space, the European Pharmaceutical Legislation. So really communication is very important, collaboration, working together, diverse stakeholders with a clear vision that we want to achieve this patient-centric approach,
Yes.
where healthcare is expectation for everyone in
Actually,
Bulgaria.
the joint clinical assessment, which will start from next year, is based on communication, because the whole coordination group consists of all member states, from regulatory authorities from all member states. So they need to communicate and to critically think about the new technologies in the same way. And these possibilities that are open towards the patient's organization to be part of this process, towards the healthcare professionals also to be part of this process, is a proof that communication is the key.
Communication is the key. I would love to close with this quote, and communication is key because really healthcare matters.